Good morning. It is me, your humble neighborhood, kind of friendly neighborhood stroke assaulter. So, today's episode will be called G is for Grieving. Yes, that is right. We're going to work through the letters of the alphabet. We've already done R, that being realistic decisions. So we did them. We're going to do them out of sequence. So, no, you're not having a speech language issue because the alphabet's out of sequence. It's just how this is going to work. A was for assholes, and I reserve the right to repeat a letter if I have to. So, sometimes we might need to. So today we're going to do G is for grieving, right? Now, what are we grieving, right? Why is there like a sense of grief after a stroke? Well, a friend of mine, actually two friends of mine, both of them being gingers. One of them is the same one is that in the video that they'll be gingers, and one is a different ginger. Unfortunately, I apparently have a small cadre of gingers in my life. And if you don't understand gingers that well, I'm going to suggest you go to, on the YouTubes, you type in Tim Minchin, Minchin, prejudice. Watch the video. You'll understand. Yes, Tim Minchin, prejudice. Watch the video. If you have difficulty with gingers, and only then. So, there's a sense of grief that comes with a stroke. You're not dead, but you kind of are, in a way. A part of your life is done. It's over, right? And that also depends on the severity of your stroke. Oh, by the way, today's T-shirt is brought to you by Where's Waldo. Yeah. So, depending on the severity of your stroke, depending on how active or not you were before your stroke, depending on a multitude of factors, what your outcome looks like, and where you are, and this is like immediately post-stroke. So in the acute phase, and we'll define acute as months 0 to 3, right? That's going to be the acute phase of your recovery. Could go longer depending on how severe that stroke is, right? You're gonna grieve, right? Because things have changed, and things have changed irrevocably. Right? There's no going back from. There's no mulligan. You don't get a do-over. You know, there's no. This isn't a MacGuffin. You know, like this is a deal. So you're gonna go through 7 stages of guilt, not 5. You get extra 2. They're an extra 2. And this is from a document I found from the Stroke Foundation in the land down under. So from the land of Oz. No, not Dr. Oz, because he's a complete fucking idiot. So the first one is shock and denial, right? 1, bam, you had a stroke. That's the shock. And then there's the denial, like, oh, fuck. Really? This just happened? Right? No, this can't be happening to me. I had that. Well, 1, in the ambulance, I had both shock and denial. I was completely just, no, this is not happening. Couple of reasons. 1, it was on my grandmother's birthday. 2, my grandmother had a massive stroke that should have killed her. 3, I got to watch what her recovery was not going to be like because of how massive her stroke was, or we didn't know how long she'd been down for, so she couldn't get the brain drain out. Right? So her brain damage was irrevocable. Right? There was no coming back from that. And I was, at that moment, I'm like, no. I told them in the hospital, before they gave me the TPA, you're going to DNR me. Right? I'm not waking up a rutabaga. No. The whole carrot to rutabaga scale is not going to be an option. You're going to let me die. I told them that. No. They were kind of concerned where a guy young and healthy wants a DNR, and I'm like, no, I'm not waking up that way. You will DNR me. Right? So, you're going to have some denial, like, this is not happening. No, 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 this did not happen. Yep. Well, there's going to be shock and denial, right? And that's totally normal. Because the scariest sentence you were ever going to get to hear from anyone in your entire world, including "Will you marry me?" Or "We're having a baby," is "You're having a stroke," right? Uh, you know, by far the scariest sentence you were ever going to hear is "You're having a stroke." Next, once you get over that, shock and denial, which could take a couple days, and some of that denial will, and some of that shock could come back up again as you start working through your initial stages of recovery. Like, fuck, why can't I do that? Right? Like, I should be able to. This is stupid. Why can't I do that? Next comes number 2, pain and guilt. Right? Now, I'm not talking physical pain. Right? You may have some physical pain to go with your stroke, but I'm not talking physical. I'm talking full-on emotional pain and guilt. Right? There's going to be moments where you can't sleep. Right? There are going to be moments where you sleep too much. There are going to be moments where something has gotten you completely emotional and there's no way for you to hide it. There are going to be moments where you get overwhelmed, right? You're going to feel remorseful, right? You're going to wonder, is there something I could have done, should have done, would have done, didn't do, didn't need to do, You're going to do the whole shoulda, woulda, coulda. Not going to change a thing. It is not going to change a thing. You're going to feel guilty, I don't really feel guilty, I smoked. I accept the fact that I smoked. I didn't smoke a lot, maybe half a pack a day, unless I was bored. If I was still smoking now, being at home, I'd easily burn through a package of cigarettes a day. Easily. Why? I'm home alone, right? I'd get bored and need something to do. And somehow smoking would probably become that. Um, you know, you may have various risk factors playing against you. You may be diabetic and not, watching your diabetes. You can be fat. And I don't mean you got to lose 10 pounds. I mean you're fucking fat, right? Your BMI is pushing 35 to 45. You happen to buy some of your clothing in the fucking tent section, right? I mean you are obese, right? You could have a drug alcohol problem where you are using drugs, prescription or street, and or alcohol, and or whatever else you can find in just an abusive manner. You're just treating your body horribly. You could have an atrocious diet. You could, whatever you did to get your stroke, you might now feel guilty over. Like, oh, if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't done this, if I hadn't done that, if I hadn't done this, right? Too late. You're there, right? And because you've had the stroke, yeah, there's some pain, right? And that pain might be different depending on the part of your life you want to talk about. For me right now, it's kind of hurtful, not hurtful, bad word. It hurts for me to go by my place of employment, right? It just, emotionally, I'm a wreck. Because, I was good at my job. And I had my stroke at work. I covered that a little bit in the post-stroke anxiety video, so if you want to know a little bit more about that, you can check that video out. The next one is anger and bargaining, right? Well, you're going to get angry that you had a stroke, right? And fuck me, I'm angry about it, yeah. You're going to do the why me, right? I did a video on the why me. I might actually do that as a better video, like why me 2.0 or why me 5.3 or whatever. So pain and guilt is going to give way to anger. Now, you're not angry at people, right? Because people didn't give you your stroke. You gave you your stroke. Now, this anger might go from being me angry at me to me angry at other people, right? So when the internalized anger turns to externalized anger, that's a problem, right? Now, here's the thing. I'm angry, and we'll discuss my angry in a minute. What do I mean by internal versus external anger? Well, right now I'm angry at me, right? I understand and I accept the fact that the reason why parts of my recovery are difficult is because my brain and my body don't want to get along well right now. You know, they're kind of like a couple going through a divorce, and unfortunately they don't get along with child support. And you know, I'm the child in a way, right? Because the body wants to be able to do one thing, the brain says "fuck you, no," and then I'm like left there sitting there going like, why? Why can't you just get along? Right? This is why we can't have nice things. Some people, that anger will get turned around and be pushed out and at people around them, right? Like I'm not angry at my physiotherapist. That woman is an amazing lady. She is absolutely brilliant, and she has made this journey much easier than it could have been, and I'm thankful that she's in my life. You know, so it's not her fault I have bad days in physio. It's not my fault specifically I have bad days in physio. It's my brain and my body. They don't like each other right now, and there's certain things I just can't do. Will I ever be able to do them? I have no idea, right? And we might actually do U's for uncertainty. This is going to work out well. Yeah, play along though. For those of you who have speech and language issues, I'm not doing it out of order to be a dick. It's just a thing. You know, then you're going to get into that bargaining phase. Well, I promised to be a better person. Oh, you know, if I just do this, I'll never, like, no, I'm sorry. Your stroke was your stroke. How it's going to impact you, I'm going to be honest, even the doctors don't know some days, right? So that expert opinion from the doctors in some cases is a guess. A very educated, very expensive guess, but it's a guess. Because they're using all their experience, expertise, patience, training, and judgment, along with their education, and whatnot to make best guess suggestions in some cases when it comes to your thinker. Right? This anger may cause damage in relationships, friends, family, loved ones, right? Because people get so frustrated, they lash out. They may not mean to, but they do. Now, once you get through the anger and bargaining, that may lead directly to sadness, reflection, and loneliness. Right? Well, loneliness, we'll save that one for last because that's a fun one. Sadness and reflection. Right? Well, yeah, you're sad. Right? A couple of reasons. One, you can remember what you could do 3 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, 2 days ago, 20 minutes ago, right? They would not let me out of my bed for the first 24 hours in the hospital. And then when they finally did let me out of my bed, I wasn't walking none too fast. There's no way I was walking fast. And I was sad about that. Now, you're going to experience periods of sadness after your stroke, and that's just a thing, right? That is completely just a thing, because you've had a major medical event that's going to have significant physical, emotional, psychological, vocational, relationship consequences, right? So, yeah, you have a right to be sad, right? Now, I've covered post-stroke depression. Sadness is normal, right? Depression is treatable. And there's a difference between being sad and being depressed. Also, how sad you are, it's going to depend on how much you've lost. Right? Let's just be honest here. If your stroke is a massive stroke, something that has rocked your world, and not in a good way, yeah, you're going to be sad, right? Are you in the case of not going back to work again? Are you in the case of never going home again? Are you in the case of learning to walk again? Are you like, where are you in your journey, and how long is your journey anticipated to take? Initially, they told me I could be in the hospital for up to 10 days, and I'm like, oh God, this is serious. Yeah. I've had, in the ambulance, I had a good crying fit. In emergency, I had a really good crying fit. In the hospital, I had 2 or 3. In the first week when I got home, I've had a couple. You know, I still randomly just start crying, right? Because I'm sad, or there can be difficulty with emotional regulation. Now we get to the reflection. Some people are gonna try to reflect too much on what happened and where they used to be in their lives. They're gonna try to get in their Wayback Machine and see what they can do. And some people are gonna get lonely because of it. There is a complete sense of isolation and loneliness with a stroke, because, and I've done a video on this on post-stroke sense of isolation. You're alone for most of this, right? There are friends and family that will be around to support you. There'll be medical and paramedical professionals to be around to help you. But ultimately, you're on your own, right? Like, this is you doing this. There's nothing anyone can do to make your rehab easier, right? They can make your day-to-day easier, like help you to go grocery shopping, or maybe, do the grocery shopping for you, or, help you go to laundry, right? But ultimately, this is a journey you have to do. Now, you're going to encounter some well-wishers out there that have no clue what they're talking about. And they're going to try and talk you out of all of this. Oh, you just got to get over it. They're fucking idiots. I was going to say this. This is not a thing you need to be talked out of, or someone to go, oh, there, just get over it. Those people are fucking idiots. They don't quite understand. This is something that you, A, can't be talked out of, and B, just get over it. This is not a just get over it kind of thing, right? This is going to be a process. And for the idiots out there, you might want to go to the A is for assholes video. Now we get to the 5th step, the upward turn, right? Once you've gone through the sadness, reflection, the loneliness, the anger, the bargaining, the shock, and the denial, poof, you're starting to get to the point where you can resolve mentally, internally, emotionally, that your life needs some tweaking. There's some adjustments required, right? Now, how long is that going to take? I don't know. It all depends on your journey. At some point during your recovery, you're going to start to plateau in your recovery. And you're going to hit many plateaus throughout your recovery. We can maybe do P's for plateau. Yes, we could. Now, when will that plateau occur? I have no idea, right? But you're going to at one point hit a moment in your recovery where life starts to calm down. You become more organized. Your physical symptoms, they've either lessened or you've found a way to get them under control and adapt. At that point, emotionally, you're going to be in a better headspace. I just can't tell you when that's going to be. I can't. Right? And people are going to give you those, oh, it's always going to be darker before I get, like, fuck off. Right? Don't give me your platitudes and your stupid cliche sayings, because all that tells me is you're actually not willing to listen to what I've got to say. You know, that's what it tells me. You know, but then you get to the sixth step, reconstruction and working through it. Right? As you begin to adjust to your stroke and what it's stolen from you, right? You're going to start to feel better about yourself and about the journey you've been on. People all the time remind me, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, they remind me of how much progress I've made. My physiotherapist has done this, friends have done it, and it's a good thing, don't get me wrong. It's just difficult to accept the fact that this is your new normal, right? Especially in that acute portion, right? Day of stroke to month, end of month 3. So once you've adjusted to what the stroke has stolen from you, right, you are going to feel a little bit more mentally healthy. And if you're not, please seek help, right? You need to find a medical practitioner that you are comfortable with, and you need to go to counseling. If you have a sense of depression, right? And I don't mean, oh, I feel kind of sad today. I mean, you are depressed. You need help. You need to immediately go to a medical facility and get the help you need, right? So once you've started to resolve exactly kind of the shitstorm that is your life, right? You're going to start to reconstruct who you are, right? And you're going to work through it. I'm not quite there yet. I'm getting there, right? Now, that can mean many things. That could mean renovations on your house to support a wheelchair, or adaptive devices to assist you in your day-to-day. That could mean working on a return to work plan. That could mean planning a new future, right? Whatever that means, that means. At that point, you you have to start accepting the fact that, you know, this is the new you. And the last one is acceptance and hope, right? Hopefully you can get here, right? Now, how long do each one of these steps take? I couldn't tell you. And I know I'm not quite at acceptance and hope yet. I know I'm not there. You got to accept the fact that you've got a new normal. This is your new, I'm going to live this way now, right? Doesn't mean instant happiness, right? You're not going to like, oh, great. No, it's not going to be that way, right? Because you're going to have to accept the fact that life will never be the same again, right? You've got to accept the fact that you're going to have people that you used to count as a friend you no longer trust. You're going to have to accept the fact people that you used to talk to day in, day out before your stroke now have distanced themselves from you because they don't know how to deal with your shit, right? And I mean just the fact you had a stroke, right? You are going to have to accept the fact that you may now have to live life with some limitations or some modifications. You may have to accept the fact that you are never going back to work. You are never going home. Hobbies and interests that you used to have, you either no longer enjoy participating in, or they're painful, like physically painful to participate in, or fuck it, I don't want to do that anymore. Right? So once you've accepted the fact where your life needs to be, right, you can then eventually develop a sense of hope of that's where you have to be, right, and how to make it better. right? Because this is going to be a painful experience, emotionally, physically, psychically. Like, this is not going to be a fun time, right? This is completely not going to be a fun time. Right? Now, keep in mind, there is no hard and fast way of how you're going to go through any of these stages, or when these stages will present, or even if they will even come in order in some cases, or you might be working on 2 stages at the same time. Like, there is no hard and fast model, right, of how these 7 stages will interact, with the exception of you're going to have to get to stages 6 and 7 in order, right? You're going to have to accept the fact, right? You're going to have to accept the fact that you're going to do the reconstruction and working through, and then you're going to get to acceptance and hope, right? That's going to be your world. That's as simple as that gets, right? And just remember, you are going through your stroke in many ways alone. This is a very isolated journey. There'll be many people in the room at times. Sometimes there won't be. Ultimately, while you're on this journey, regardless of what stage of the grieving process of your stroke, if you need help, if you need help dealing with those phases, I'm going to suggest having discussions with friends is not a bad thing. However, be prepared for people that don't quite get it. So at that point, my best solution is engage your clinical team, right? Engage the people around you that are professionals, that are trained, and they can give you the conversations that you're going to need without being condescending or dismissive. And seek professional counseling help, right? Seek it out, find the one that works for you, and then go forward from there. So we've done G is for grieving. We're going to do U is for uncertainty, and I forget the other one. I'll have to watch this video again to find out because I don't remember. Yeah. So at that point, if you happen to like what you've been watching, you like the content I've been doing, if there's something you want to see me do, a topic that you need covered, please immediately go down to the comment section and type it in, right? And I will happily create content about that. If you like what you've been watching, please like, share, subscribe with your friends. If you know someone that's going through the recovery process of a stroke, please recommend the channel to them. And if you don't like what you're watching, go away. Like, just, you and I are done. Go watch something else. You know. And if you happen to notice either in yourself or someone around you the signs or symptoms of a stroke, that being facial droop, inability to raise both arms equally or effectively, slurred, stuttering speech, inappropriate word usage for situation or context, inability to smile equally or effectively, inability to stand unaided, general body weakness or weakness on one side, please immediately place that person in a position of comfort and dial 911. Something so simple can save a life.